Hey guys, my name is Ray, and today's the day that we have an awesome new layout. We have awesome shit to talk about, and we have the lovely Amelia here joining me. And I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm so hyped today for everything we're gonna do. But before we get to that, let Amelia present herself. Amelia, tell them what's up.
Hey everybody, it's Amelia. Man. And again, I'm sorry for the mess in the background. We're moving, so things are being packed. I literally ate my dinner on a moving box right here in front of me. I've got the computer like up on a couple of boxes. So, hi.
Now, as you guys noticed, before we even start, I wanted to say, I decided to change things up a bit on the channel because, I don't like being compliant, like staying put on one thing. So I wanted to spice things up a bit. And as you guys could tell right here, the topics right here, these are what we're going to talk about in the order we're going to talk about them. And basically, then we'll take some questions, some Q&As, and, I don't know, man. I'm just really hyped. I like the layout. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm just going to be learning with it a little bit. I'm testing it out. Let me know if you guys think something needs fixing, and I'll try to get that fixed. But what do you think, Amelia? We did try it out yesterday, right?
Yeah, we did. And people are already asking me, where is my Wolverine mask? So I'm not as scary.
I mean, for sure.
We'll see how it goes.
Yesterday, that was crazy when we tested it out. We didn't think anybody would be watching, and then we ended up having like 20, I think, people or something like that watching the video live. So that was fun.
I know. Well, but it was very last minute. I didn't have any makeup on. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna try and go live a little bit," and I did not think that people were gonna end up watching it at all. So some of you got to see my Wolverine mask.
Now, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It's funny. I see people in the comment in the chat talking about why there's no Euron on the sidebar right here. Wait, I still got to get used to this because it's opposite where why there's no Euron here. I just kind of bundled Euron into right here, King's Landing, because I wanted to start off with this. I really, really wanted to start off with it because it was crazy how it ended. So I want to start off with there first. But, like I said, I just wanted to try something new. If you guys like it, leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments after it goes live and everything, and I'll go back through the comments. But, Amelia, first off, before we even get to Euron, what did you think about the last episode? Because I know I loved the hell out of it. What did you think about it?
I really liked it. I just watched it again a couple of hours ago, so that it was fresh in my mind. I loved it. I felt like it was episode 1 and episode 2 were sort of a part 1 and part 2. Like they were very well grouped together. Almost like how Harry Potter, the last movie, they split it into for like Mockingjay. I feel like that's how episode 1 and episode 2 were. Of episode 1.
I mean, I personally do agree with you. I think that it seems like they were both setting things up, but the things that episode 2 were setting up was way more sexier. It was just like so much better. And I think that we're gonna get a lot of payoffs off of stuff that they set in this last episode that came out. Out of a 1 to 10, what did you give this episode? From 1 to 10, what would you have given this episode as a score?
An 8.5. 9.
That's around where I was too. I think that 8.5 is generous, but fair. It's like fair, you know what I mean? Because it was a fun episode. They had a lot of good things that I wasn't expecting to get in this episode. I felt like we got a lot more. With me, to be honest, I just really have been enjoying the interactions between characters, right? Like Jon and Sansa. Like, to me, the best scene in that whole episode was Arya and Hot Pie, but we'll get to that later. I I got goosebumps in that scene. But what about you? What was your favorite scene in the whole episode?
Probably Nymeria.
Nymeria?
And I liked Sam and Jorah.
Ugh. That Jorah and Sam scene. I don't know what the hell it is about the Citadel. It doesn't look like a very nice, clean place. It doesn't look like a place that screams cleanliness, does it now?
I mean, as clean as you can be back then.
I mean, to me, it was just insane. Like, we've gotten a couple of camera switches that have been insane. We got the poop montage with the food. Then we get the pus and grayscale to the chicken pot pie, I believe. So that was very interesting. But before we go into the official first topic, let me give some shout outs to everyone in the chat. Let's see. We saw that Cersei is basically allied herself with Euron. She's trying to get Randall Tarly on her side, and it seems like that's what's going to go down. It seems that right now it is going to be Cersei, the Tarlys, and Euron, and the Lannisters, and all of them versus Daenerys and everybody. What do you think is going to end up happening with Cersei upcoming? Like, because, like, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that, like, Cersei won't win. Or do you think that she did very well for herself? What do you think?
I don't think in the end she's going to win. But I think that she'll give Dany a fight. And I think that we're going to see her pull out all the stops. And it's just so funny, you know, when she's sitting there and she's talking to and the rest of the people, that she's talking so, you know, so badly about Dany, yet she just blew up. Like, nobody said anything about, didn't you just blow up the Citadel with wildfire? I mean, I don't understand why people aren't calling her out on that as the next, you know, Mad King or Queen. But I enjoyed how Tarly sort of tried to stay honorable when he was talking to Jaime, and I'm not completely convinced that he's going to try and kill Lady Olenna. I think he's going to try and walk a fine line and assist Cersei and Jaime, but still try to be as honorable as he can.
I mean, Randall Tarly was... Oh, wait, I hear myself, on your end. I don't know. Randall Tarly to me was very interesting because Randall Tarly he lives life like on this high horse, right? And the way that I saw it was Cersei is using the two things that we've seen proven Randall Tarly hates the most. People, foreigners, he hates foreigners, and he hates men without testicles and backbone. That's how I feel. I feel that Cersei was like, oh, well, the Dothraki, oh my God, for the first time. She's an outsider. She burned lords. She didn't say slave owners or anything like that. She said lords. The way that she's painting everything is very funny. And I think it's very smart on her behalf because Cersei knows that she is done if she cannot get the support. Like, her and Jaime were talking about the whole ally thing. So, to me, it's just interesting how she's just scaring the shit out of everybody to get everybody in check with her. I personally think that Randall Tarly and Euron are two very good allies from what we saw in the last episode and from what we've heard of Randall and read of Randall Tarly. What do you think about, like, do you think that when it's all said and done, Cersei will be, I don't know, Cersei will be able to go toe-to-toe with Daenerys? Because it seems like Jon is just not in this one-on-one thing. It seems like it's Daenerys and Cersei. Do you think that she will get to put up like a good fight up against Cersei? I mean, against Daenerys. Do you think that she will be able to go toe-to-toe with her, even with Randall and Euron?
Realistically, no. but I think that the show is going to give us that. I think that they're going to give Cersei a little bit more power than she deserves, just for good show, you know, just for a good episode. But realistically, no. And I don't know if it's appropriate for me to talk about her in, I guess, the basement, whatever you call it, where they're holding the dragons. Can I talk about that now?
About what?
Like, their new little weapon for the dragons?
Yeah. Everything Cersei, King's Landing, Euron, Tarly's, everything, yeah.
And I know that you told me that that's how one of the dragons was killed.
Meraxes.
But, seriously, that was close proximity. And it's not Balon, it's, how do you pronounce that dragon?
Balerion.
Balerion.
The black
right?
dragon.
I want to say that. Like, close proximity, a dead dragon. It didn't really impress me. I mean, you know, you're in a basement and you shoot a dead dragon that's in close proximity. Like, the real dragons are going to fly and it's going to be a lot further away. And I really got mad because, I mean, that view of his skull just sitting there and how it was just like a, you know, head-on view was so beautiful. And then they stuck that huge arrow in him. Like, that's like,
an artifact.
That's like somebody going to the Smithsonian and spray or the Louvre and spray painting the Mona Lisa. Like, why would you do that?
Damn,
I got so mad.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of mad too when they damaged the skull, because all you hear is that Balerion the Black Dread was such a badass dragon. So to see him kind of go down and be disrespected like that, I felt a certain way about it. But that being said, I just think that I think it's totally possible Cersei killing one dragon, because I believe it. Whoever gives the surprise has the advantage, right? Because let's say, for example, we've heard about this scene that's gonna happen, and that's like maybe one of the only things that I've heard is like a dragon in the dragon pit. If something is like, let's say, and this isn't like, I don't know anything, but I'm saying, if like you set up the spike ahead of time and then Dany lands and you have somebody adjusting it and then they just catch him slipping, like sleeping, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a wrap for the dragon. I totally 100% could see it. And I could even see it happening while the dragon is flying, because I went back and I saw the battle in Marine with the dragons. When she's throwing fire, she's studied. Like, the dragons are just set. So, like I said, Rhaenys and Meraxes were taken down in Dorne with one of those through the eye. I totally 100%. That's one thing that I didn't like, though. I was like, you have this that George wrote into the history of the Targaryens, and he probably wrote that like foreshadowing something. And then they say, oh, in Marine, the dragons were wounded. We could use this. Like, this is some like magic new contraption. Like you don't know what this is. That made me mad a bit. I was like, yo, you know Meraxes, you know Rhaenys, you know what happened there. Use that as a reference. Don't use the whatever happened in Marine, because Drogon was a little dragon still, basically, compared to what he is now in Marine. What did you think about that?
Well, and I mean, he said that he was wounded, and we have seen him multiple times since that scene do just fine. I really wouldn't have called him wounded. That's like he got a paper cut and it healed. So, you know what I mean? Like, he still flew away after multiple daggers, or what are the spears, not daggers, being thrown at him. And, I mean, it was stupid, because, seriously, it was a paper cut to him.
I mean, I just don't see how, and it's interesting because I have someone here, Marco, wrote me that Dany's camp doesn't have a military commander, and they're all politicians. So yes, Cersei is able to go toe-to-toe with Dany. I do agree with that, because the way that Cersei is set up right now, she has Jaime. Jaime was a pretty good commander during the War of the Five Kings until he got caught, you know, by Robb and them. The way I just see it going down is, I just think that it's going to get to a point that I agree with Marco. Since they do not have military commanders, they're going to get their asses handed to them a couple of times. And once they get it handed to them a couple of times, Daenerys is going to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm getting on the dragon, and I'm going to go burn these motherfuckers because these people don't know what they're talking about. Let me just do me. And then she's going to remember what Olenna told her, and that's how I think it's going to go down. How do you think it's going to go down when Dany snaps? Because we know that she is going to go on Drogon and burn the shit out of everybody. We got that one photo from Entertainment Weekly. What do you think is going to happen there?
I think eventually she's just going to have to do it old school, like her, like her forefathers and foremothers, because there were, you know, two girls. You know, plus with her plans being totally squashed because of Euron, she doesn't have, like, that tactical plan right there is dead and done. She's going to have to eventually use the dragons at full force. And she's not going to be able to just use one dragon. She has 3. She can only ride 1. Not that they can't fight, you know, beside her without a rider, but I think that her conversation, and I know we're skipping ahead some, but her conversation with Lady Olenna is almost, Lady Olenna almost has a foresight into seeing, like, this is gonna, you know, this is how it's gonna have to be. I'm telling you, be a dragon, but I'm pretty sure that I know that you're just gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to be a dragon. It's not gonna be a choice.
We'll get back to that in a minute with Daenerys and Olenna. So, like I said, I bundled the Euron, Cersei, everything King's Landing, the New Alliance. One thing that I really liked in this episode was seeing that Cersei necessarily is not the politician either. Because we thought that, like, when you first initially look at everything, I thought that Cersei was going to be pulling the strings. But it looks like Jaime will be very crucial for her recruiting people and bringing people into the fold. Another thing is Euron. Like I said, Euron is in this. He's in that King's Landing group. That's why I cut it down the way I did, because I think that there are 3 groups. The North with Jon, Daenerys, Dragonstone, and King's Landing Cersei. What did you think about Euron and how Euron went about things? Like, what did you think about even that plan?
I honestly think that he just got lucky fighting them in the water when he did.
You mean like bumping into
he left? Yeah, he left King's Landing not knowing that Yara and her ships were going to be heading to Dorne. You know, I mean, he knew that he needed to capture the Sand Snakes, and I'm trying to think of the map. You know, he's sort of headed towards Dorne, and they're headed towards Dorne, and it was just, he got lucky, you know, finding them there in the water. There's no way that he could have planned that.
I mean,
but he laid into them, like,
I mean,
a lot.
You just gotta look at the way. One, I'm just gonna say this right now: the badass way that Euron rode into battle off of silence on that bridge that he had. Yo, like, when you look at that, the way that ship is made, it looks like a mouth, like the mouth of the Kraken, and then it has like teeth, and he just grabs onto the other ship, and it allows people to pass by. And Euron is like on that, like it's a freaking, what you call it, a swing. He's just holding onto the ropes, and then he's just cutting people down. I know that a lot of people have told me that, you know, they feel that they combined a lot of Victorion with Euron. They feel like they combine like his the warrior that Victorion is with Euron. But I just like the way that, I don't know, Euron this season is very likable to me. Like, I feel that I like Euron, even though I thought I wouldn't this season. Like, what do you think about Euron? Do you like the character Euron? Because I do. I'm interested in knowing what you think about this, because I know that I had my concerns when he said that he was going to be one of the, like, best villains or the worst villain. So now seeing him, I'm like, yo, he's a good villain. Like, he's a good bad guy. What do you think about Euron overall before we get into the specifics of last episode?
Well, you know, he said in an interview that, you know, he was going to be worse than Ramsay. And I don't see that from him. I don't see him as that sort of villain. And I said last week that I really enjoyed his scenes. And he was sort of like Negan for me in The Walking Dead. A very enjoyable villain to watch. You love to hate him. I don't think that he's going to be as sadistic as Ramsay. But again, that remains to be seen. I don't think that he's going to have, and they're allowing enough character development like Ramsay and Joffrey had to be sadistic. I think that we're going to see him as a villain in a way that he's going to steamroll, like anything he puts his mind to, he's going to conquer. Point. Eventually, I think he's going to die, but that's going to be his, you know, he's going to snowball into this big, victorious villain that we love to hate versus Ramsay or Joffrey that we just hated because they were sick in the head. But I mean, this past episode, we didn't have as much, I mean, it was just a fight, you know, it was just a battle, but especially episode 1, I really enjoyed him as a character.
I mean, I personally was just like, damn, like this dude is insane. Like this dude is batshit crazy. I really enjoyed it. To me, just one, like in all, I disliked the Sand Snakes, but it really sucks seeing them go. Like, you know what I mean? Because if any of you have seen Iron Fist, I saw Iron Fist. I liked Iron Fist, and I liked the actress that portrays Nim, I believe it is, from the Sand Snakes. I like her. I like Tyene. Obara was the one that I was like, yeah, like she wasn't. It's like, you know, that it made me laugh when Olenna told her about that pouty little boy thing. Cause I like the way I just picture Obara was just like a little bit more stockier, like we call in Spanish a mujerón, like this like big woman, like, so that's how I always just like picture her. But like, I don't know, I didn't like the way that the actress portrayed her, and I don't really like how any of them were portrayed, but it still sucked to me to see them go and to know what's going to happen to them. Like the upcoming episode is called The Queen's Justice, and we know that Cersei is going to go batshit crazy up in this bit. She's gonna go insane, and I just know that it's gonna be crazy because, like, I like, it's funny having a channel and people write you comments and people write you when you like through email and whatnot, and it's funny, people are telling me that they're gonna go the Brandon and Rickard route and they're gonna burn Tyene in front of Ilaria. Do you think that she would do that?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I can't blame Cersei for wanting revenge on Ilaria and the Sand Snakes. Said that last week. If she burns them, then, I mean, as if she didn't deserve the crown of the Mad King already, then, you know, she definitely would then. I don't know that she would burn them. I could see her torturing them more than anything, but I don't blame her for that because Marcella was just like, you were an adult and you're going to kill a kid and then your nephew, like,
I mean, I understand what you're saying too, because it was pretty stingy that, you know, that Ilaria did do that to Marcella. I totally agree with that. I don't know, man. It's just like when Cersei does something, it just comes across as meaner than any other character doing it. You know what I mean? And it's true what you're saying. It's like perception, right? I see it that way. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is that way. It's like an eye for an eye, the world goes blind, right? So I just can't imagine, man, what's gonna happen. It's gonna be bad. Because we saw what she did to the Septa. And I was going to say, to the one true David Adams, and anybody who sends in questions right now, I can't copy the questions right now because of all the setup right now. It doesn't allow me. It's like super difficult. So if you guys want, you guys could save the the questions for the Q&A part later, and then I'll answer them, and you know, I'll have it all set up. You know, it'll probably be easier to do it later. I could just look on there and stuff because it'll be too difficult to save a question for later. But back to the whole Euron and Cersei thing. I honestly think that they're a match made in heaven right now. They just seem perfect for each other. The way that Cersei, I was going to say, oh snap. The way, no, don't worry. At least it's not the cat that's barking. If the cat wasn't, you said that your cat thought it was a dog.
Oh, it's my brother. He watches Game of Thrones. Ian, come here.
What's up?
Can you switch to my screen?
Yeah.
Say hi to the YouTube world. This is my brother Ian.
What's up, YouTube world?
And his beard.
Oh, okay.
You'll be right here. You're up there, but look, you'll be right here in just a second. This is YouTube. It's a delay.
Oh, it is a delay. So in case I cuss.
You can cuss, but
No, I mean
he's outside helping my mom like with getting things prepared because for the buyers of this house. This is my brother. He's super tall. I'm super short. This is Ray.
Hey guys.
Hey.
He's in New York.
Can't wait for tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, man, can't wait.
What was your favorite part?
A win of the last episode?
Yeah, of the last episode. Bend back down.
And I don't know. Oh, definitely when she met what's the name of the dog?
Nymeria.
Nymeria.
It's a wolf.
The wolf.
Yeah.
That Nymeria part was good. It was good. I got the feel.
They had him from Australia, and she loves Houston. She's saying she's giving me waves.
Yeah, that was my favorite part because she's got her own little army of her own now.
Yeah. My favorite part was Arya finding out that Jon took back the North. That I got the feels there. I was like, damn, man, I got a little sister. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, that's my. Yeah. So I enjoyed that part right there. But
that decision, that fork in the road she had when she came out of the town.
Yeah, that was
left to go north and right to go south, or vice versa.
Drivers, which need to be updated immediately.
Right,
nice to see you guys.
Love you.
Update all to get the latest driver.
Yeah, what you call it? Yeah, I muted it. I'm not sure if I muted it on time, but all right, you're back. All right, so, what do you think about? I have a question though, just for fun. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we are having fun here. We're supposed to have fun. It's supposed to be, you know, an interactive thing. What do you think about the love triangle possibly between Euron, Jaime, and Cersei? Because Euron knows that, you know, he knows that Cersei and Jaime are a thing. And because he kind of like poked and made fun of Jaime. And we see that Jaime does not like the Ironborn. And we know that Cersei knows that she needs the Ironborn. What do you think about that? What do you make of it?
I don't think that there's going to necessarily, I mean, I guess you can call it a love triangle, but Cersei's going to do whatever she wants to do in order to keep the throne, which after Euron brings her gift. I mean, and I think that she is very entertained by Euron. I think that it's going to just eventually put a wedge between her and Jaime, and it's going to allow Jaime to grow into the Jaime that we've seen him grow into. The Jaime that I like, who is not dependent on Cersei. And I think that, you know, possibly it'll be Cersei and Euron. And then at the end, towards Cersei's demise and the end of her days, she's going to realize, like, I think Jaime's going to be out of the picture. And she's going to realize that she made a big mistake all the way around.
Because I know that a lot of us are anticipating that at some point in time, Cersei and Jaime will just break up and snap, right? Like, all of us are expecting that. So, to me, it's interesting if it could go either. It's like when you break up with someone, right? It could either go one of two ways. They could either want to come back and fix things, or they could be like, yo, I'm free, fuck this shit, like, and just move on to the next one. So, with Cersei, I just don't know which one of the two is going to be. To be honest, right now, and from, like, it's funny because I like, my mom and my brother have seen some of the episodes, and both of them have been pushing me heavily towards the belief that Cersei actually kind of likes Euron. Like, that cockiness, that, like, arrogance that he has, she kind of likes it. And I went back and I saw the episode, and it kind of looks like the way that Lena Headey portrays it. It seems like she might be kind of interested in him. So to me, it kind of leads me to like, okay, if Cersei and Jaime were to break up because of Euron, and Jaime doesn't like Euron, this would lead Jaime to want to kill Cersei maybe after she does something bad shit crazy. He's like, oh no, she's just lost it. She isn't the person that I once loved. Let me kill her. And then you have the Valonqar there, and then you have Euron involved in everything and screwing everything up. Like, what do you think about that? About that relationship? Like, I just think that you wouldn't put that relationship out there if it wouldn't affect them long term. Like that possible relationship, because it's not a relationship. Like you said, Cersei and Euron aren't a thing yet. But once, like, we saw how Euron looks, how happy he is, being like praised for bringing the Sand Snakes to King's Landing. They're like throwing a freaking parade for him. So like I just want to know how Cersei is gonna be. Like you saw in the preview, she says that she drew first blood. Well, if she drew first blood, I don't know, Euron got her that. You know what I mean? I think that Euron might be in goods with her. What do you think about, I don't know. Like, I'm just interested in seeing overall, but you did tell me what you thought about that. Do you want to continue on this, or you want to move on?
Well, I think that Euron is going to be the new Jaime. I mean, remember Jaime, you know, before he lost his hand, he was confident and maybe a little, you know, cocky, and took charge, and whatever he did for the love, you know, to have the love from Cersei, and he doesn't do that anymore. And I think that that's what Cersei's attracted to. So Euron's going to be her new Jaime, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I think.
I mean, I'm just really excited to see, one, what Cersei does with the Sand Snakes. Two, how that relationship between Jaime and Cersei is going to basically crumble. Because I think inevitably it will. And, alright, so it's funny because someone just told me that you sound too loud, and then I lowered you, and then they say they can't hear you. So I'm just going to leave it as is. And let me move my mic a little bit further. Maybe that might help a bit because, alright. So I have my mic right in front of me, people. So if you don't hear me there.
Okay, so, and can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
No, they could hear you. Trust me. Like, I have you all the way up.
Well, Marie now says that she said she couldn't hear me. So
no,
Amelia is a silent.
I raised the volume after I saw Marie's comment because I had lowered it because someone had told me you were too loud. So, you know, I'll just leave it as is, and I moved the mic. If you guys hear me perfectly, let me know in the comments, in the chat.
Okay, now they say it's perfect.
All right, so everybody, I see. All right, so everybody says it's. Let's see. Marco says, I feel like Cersei will poison Tyene. They said Cersei returns the gift. I mean, in one of my previous videos, Marco, I had said that I believe that the gift is, you know, because we see with the Faceless Men, the gift is death. I thought that either Cersei would be returning death, or she would be in a sense, like, let's say, for example, Euron were to give, like, Yara to Cersei, and Cersei would be like, oh, you could have Yara, I just want the Sand Snakes. You know what I mean? That's just what I assumed it to be. When you hear Cersei returns the gift, what do you think about, Amelia?
I think that I don't know how she's going to kill them, but I think that she'll get revenge on Ilaria and the Sand Snake, or Sand Snake, because there's just like 2 of them died.
I know, like, when you see that way that they phrase the synopsis is interesting, because you have I think it. Let me see if I recall. Damn, I forgot. I forgot what it was for Danny and for John. But I remember Cersei. It says Cersei returns a gift for the synopsis for this episode, and I kept thinking about that. Like, why is it that Cersei returns a gift? What would Cersei return to, or and to who would she return it? Right? Like, to me, it puzzled me a bit in that sense. What would she return? So I do agree, Marco. I think it could be death. And let me just tell everybody in the chat too. If you guys want me to see a comment, or you guys want me to see what you're writing me about the current topic that we're talking right now, all you have to do is either write. Let me see. Could if they? I know. Wait, this isn't traditional Hangouts, so they would have to write me. You could write, but you have to write Rayz the Alba. You have to write my name. And then when you write my name, it shows me that you're talking directly to me. So that way I know that your comment is directed at me. So if you want me to see anything, just do that at Rayz the Alba. And it should highlight it, and I should be able to read it. So that, you know, I hope nobody thinks that I'm not looking at their comments. It's just that since I'm dealing over here, it's hard to see the comments over here. But since we talked enough about, let's say, the Lannisters and what they did, let's talk about Daenerys and what happened in Dragonstone this past episode. What happened in Dragonstone this past episode was insane to me. Daenerys finding out that Jon Snow is like a must meet, and Tyrion finding out that he's king in the North, and that reaction that we got off of him, to me, was like the best thing ever. I was just super excited by it. I was just like super happy, and oh snap, I just messed. All right, good. What did you think about the events at Dragonstone with everybody? What did you make of that? What did you think of it? Were you underwhelmed? Did you like it? Let me know your thoughts about Dragonstone.
I wasn't underwhelmed. I really enjoyed. I think that Varys. The conversation that he had with Danny, that was one of his best, if not his best monologue out of the entire series.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I believe that Varys is interesting, but I think that they went that route specifically with him on the show right now, because in the books it's very possible that he might be a Blackfire. So I think that they went this route that he's like a man of the people, like he likes to call himself, or he serves the realm.
And he's always said that he serves the realm, but how he presented it to her and the words that he spoke were so, is poignant the right word? Yeah. And it was just this beautiful package with wrapped with a beautiful bow, how he presented it to her. And it changed Danny. And I think that he said it because that's how he truly feels. I don't think that it was, he was manipulating her or anything like that. And it just, I think it caught her off guard. Because, Tyrion has given her, Tyrion always has, a ton of great monologues, and he says a lot of really wise or great things. But with Varys being someone new and to have that impact on Danny, she doesn't get, she did have, Barristan, but I don't know, just the way that she reacted to it. And, she asked him, please, just tell me to my face if I'm ever doing something wrong.
And then she threw the occasional, I'll burn you alive in there. Just nothing. Almost nothing.
Yeah. And Varys handled that really well. I just loved that.
I personally was very shocked by her approach towards Varys, because Varys is like one of the most important people that she has on her side that could actually help her. But then you have the scene when I wanted to jump to the scene when Melisandre gets there, You see how Varys is being grilled, and then you see him grilling Melisandre, and to me it was just, I like the way that Dany was like, well, you came in at a lucky time because we're pardoning people who basically served the wrong king or the wrong monarch, I think it was that she said. So I really enjoyed that whole interaction there with all of these important viable characters, these people who have big end game potential, who might have something big by the end of the story. And I just really enjoyed the fact that, I don't know, that Varys is his own person, but I feel that Varys really fucked up in this episode. I feel that Varys showed that he might not be fully invested in Daenerys. I'm not sure if this was intentionally. It's funny because I made a video and someone dogged me for basically talking about Daenerys, but in my opinion, I feel that Varys is at fault for everything that happened with Ilaria, Yara, Theon, and all of the Sand Snakes. I feel that everything that happened there, I feel that Varys is at fault for that. Do you agree or do you disagree with that? I'm interested in knowing.
Why would he be at fault?
Because when you look at Varys in previous seasons and him and Littlefinger and even Cersei, the way that they have spies and little birds and all of this, we see that Qyburn is using the little birds, but I mean, you would think that at least Varys would be aware that Euron was on his way to King's Landing to make an alliance with all of those boats. Because if you remember the map, you have to go all the way fucking down, and then you have to make a U-turn back up to get to King's Landing. And I feel like the show has done this badly. Like, I love the show, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the show, but I just feel that, in a sense, I feel that Varys should know if all those people, if a thousand ships are traveling towards King's Landing to make an alliance with your enemy, you should know. I don't care what nobody says. You should fucking know. And Varys did not know, and that's his one job, to know these type of things, and he didn't. And I think I see a lot of people questioning if Tyrion's plan was bad. Tyrion's plan was good. The bad part was not knowing that Euron was in King's Landing and trying to make an alliance with Cersei. That's how I think that he's at fault. You disagree or do you agree? I want to know what you think about this, because I strongly believe that he's at fault here.
I don't think that Varys has as many birds as he used to. I think that when he went to Essos and when he decided to leave King's Landing and focus on Dany, obviously, you know, Qyburn sort of took a lot of his birds, and I think that he relied on more birds in the east. And now that he's back in the west, he doesn't have his hands not in the pot as much anymore with that, and he hasn't got his bearings around his little birds yet. That's what I think. And I mean, Yara took a substantial amount and the best ships, you know, of the Iron Fleet. Maybe he didn't realize that Euron was going to so quickly have hundreds of ships at his disposal.
No.
Yara should have maybe thought a little bit more about her uncle, I think. I mean, you can't pin it all on Varys. Nobody. I mean, Yara knew that he was, you know, Euron was back. Nobody really at that table said, hey, well, what about Euron? Nobody.
I mean, like Misha Houston says, Tyrion and Varys should have known about Euron. The plan was good, but the planning was hella wrong. I agree. I think that too many people had their hands in the kitchen, in the pan, right? I think that's the saying. I don't know if that's the way it goes, but whatever. I just think that the idea was good and smart maybe a week earlier. You know what I mean? By a week, they were wrong. So I just think that, in a way, Varys is the person who should know, and he should be held accountable. I honestly believe that Varys might burn after this shit. Like, I'm not even joking.
But he's been on a boat with Dany. Like, how is he going to get a bunch of information? They just got to Dragonstone.
How the hell did he get to Marine with all those boats after Olenna and all of them? Like, yo, we don't know this shit. Time doesn't exist in Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah, that was last season.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, he gets shit done. He's just that good. That's why he's still alive, because he's that good at his job. You know what I mean? And I just feel that he really, realistically, did not hold up his end of the bargain. He did not carry his weight when it came to terms with, like, information. That's his one job. Like, he only has one thing to do, and he didn't do it. So, to me, that's why I feel that he kind of messed up. I thought I lost you for a second.
No.
Because I highlighted you, and then I just see you, like, looking down. I was like, oh, snap, I lost her.
I was reading the comments. I guess I'm going to be the odd man out and have to, disagree. I think he really hadn't established himself with Dany yet until this episode. Granted, they were on a boat from Essos to, Westeros. Why they didn't cover this, get this out of the way then, you'd think that they would do it on the boat. But, yes, that's been his job, but it seems to me that, like, Dany didn't realize, like, she knew that was his job, but that's not the job that she has now given him. It's like, well, we'll wait till we get to Dragonstone, and, and then I'll deal with you, and maybe all of that was sort of left up in the air. And when you're on a boat, maybe it's harder to get information from your little birds.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I still think and feel that Varys should have had that information. I think that he should have had that information, because I just honestly believe that I don't know. I just think that if we are to look at it for what it is, Varys provided information to Robert Baratheon even when he knew he shouldn't have. He the whole Dany situation to me is foreshadowing that Varys is gonna get it. Yo, I honestly believe that Varys will get it on behalf of someone this season. I think that Varys will die this season. Honestly. I don't know. You might not buy into it, but let's move on to Melisandre then. Melisandre, or Melisandre, however you like to refer to her, she went to Dragonstone. She tells Dany about the prince that was promised and all of that good stuff. And basically she tells Dany that she has to meet Jon. Daenerys says, oh, this Jon Snow sounds like an extraordinary man. Like, yo, he surely sounds good, right? And then Tyrion is like, yo, I'm a good judge of character. I know Jon Snow. I liked him. Bam. The date is set. Tomorrow. But, and again, Daenerys says that Jon Snow must bend the knee. What the... Wait. What do you think is going to happen in the upcoming episode? And what did you think about Tyrion not putting that in the letter? I like how you're just twirling your hair while like thinking.
I'm thinking, well, so we're positive that it wasn't in the letter. I mean, it wasn't read, but did Tyrion, I mean, I didn't read, there was a shot of the letter, but I didn't pause it to read it. But we're assuming that he didn't put that in the letter.
No, that is not in the letter. HBO released a copy of the letter, and it is not in the letter. Not even that, and Tyrion said he changed summon to invite. He took out the whole bend the knee, and like it's just he just switched everything up because Jon Snow was not gonna go down if he saw any of that.
Perhaps Tyrion, being the wise person that he is and such a people person, wants to allow Jon and Dany to meet and to sort of see their natural dynamic and their natural chemistry. and maybe he thinks Dany will change her mind about you have to bend the knee. Maybe that's what he's hoping. And maybe he knew the only way that he would get Jon down there is by not putting that in the letter. But, I mean, I think if push came to shove and it was bend the knee and you can have my dragons and my dragon glass, Jon would bend the knee.
I mean, look, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I don't think that Jon Snow is going to bend that knee. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't think Jon Snow is going to bend the knee. Because I just think that, Jon Snow knows that this is leverage. He has leverage over her that, like, I think that he'll bend the knee maybe eventually. He'll promise to bend the knee once she helps. And then once he tells her about the dead, because I am freaking out for tomorrow for Jon Snow to be like, yo, man, yeah, I've been revived from the dead. Because Melisandre says, so he could tell you what has happened to him and what he has seen. I want to see Jon Snow like, yeah, I was stabbed like 5 times, was revived, and yeah, ice zombies, White Walkers, ice spiders as big as Hound, and Dany's gonna be like, yeah, okay, yeah, like that's a thing. I just want to see that so bad, and I'm gonna record my reaction tomorrow for it because I recorded my reaction last week and the mic just died out on me. My camera mic, it's like a really bad mic, but yo, like, I just think that Jon Snow will bend the knee. I just think that he's gonna use it as leverage to negotiate like terms, like, all right, you have to help me, and I'll bend the knee to you. Like, you know what I mean? What do you think? Do you think Jon will bend the knee? Like, or like, what? How do you see it going down?
Like I said, if push came to shove, and the only way he could get dragons and dragonglass was to bend the knee, he would bend the knee. I don't know. I think after they meet, and I think that this is what Tyrion is banking on, is that it's not going to come to that.
Now, everybody is hoping on that shipping thing that Jon and Daenerys will be an item. I would like them to be an item. I would like them because they're like the 2 main characters basically of the whole thing, the whole story. But do you think that that's the way it's going to play out? Do you think that Dany and Jon will have like an attraction towards each other, or do you think that they'll like each other, or like do you think that they'll be hostile to each other? How do you see them interacting? Because I'm like, my number one thing that I love about Game of Thrones is the dialogue. I love the talking more than the battles. I literally enjoy like the politics of it all, the emotion and all that stuff way more than I like the battles. What do you foresee King Jon Snow and Queen Daenerys dynamic? What do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to be there? Like, do you think it's going to be negative, positive, romantic? What do you see it? Like, I don't know. I'm interested. Like, I really want to talk about this.
That's a hard question to answer. It could go a lot of different ways. Jon's never in the mindset of, I don't ever see Jon being in the mindset of, just being attracted to someone. Ever since, Ygritte, he just doesn't think like that. But
I mean, the same could be said for Dany. Is not the same, but I was to say after Khal Drogo, Dany was a bit like, like iffy about men. She got in.
Yeah, but Dario, I mean, she's a little bit more, frisky, I guess. But I don't think that Jon, if Dany tries to act arrogant or special, like, I'm the queen, I'm the Targaryen who came, from who everybody thought was dead, and now I'm back to take my throne. I mean, if she acts arrogant about it, like, Jon's not going to have any of that. Like, he didn't have time for that. But at the same time, you're going to walk a fine line because she has everything that he needs. but he's not an ass kisser.
What you
so
oh baby, you got what I need. Well, you say he's just a friend.
And Danny kind of likes people to kiss her ass. I mean, she does, and he doesn't do that. So if that's how she presents herself, I mean, it could, be a little awkward. But I mean, that's honestly, I feel like we're just going to have to watch and see, because it could go a lot of different ways. I just hope that they don't, like, how it was like the last clip of the preview for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I hope that it's, like, not the last thing that we see. I hope we get a good amount of, we don't have time for it to be the last thing that happens at the end of the episode, and then we don't really even get to see him talk. I hope that we do get a complete interaction with the two of them tomorrow. It could go either way.
Before we continue, I just want to give a huge thank you, Marie, for the donation for the mic. Yo, I just want to say this. Yo, if you guys like this, and this is something I think I told you, Amelia, yesterday, or I'm not sure if I did, but I've been thinking about being able to receive phone calls while we're doing live stream. What do you think about that? If we were able to pick up phone calls while we're live streaming, we would be able to receive phone calls. That would be dope.
Sounds good to me.
Like, I was already checking in. I saw some of the equipment that I think I would need. So, thank you, Marie. Like I said, I need the mic. So, that will go directly for the mic. Thank you so much again. I'm just waiting for YouTube to freaking, because YouTube is like a monthly thing. It's not even like they give it to you right away. So, thank you again, Marie. But, yo, I'm telling you, I have some awesome stuff planned for the channel. Like, awesome, crazy stuff for the long night. Because that's what it is, right? Amelia kind of dies off, though, in the long night. She kind of abandons me.
Well, I mean, we don't do live streams. I don't abandon you in real life.
No, I know. We talk like every day almost. But
no, we talk every day, not almost.
Yeah, yeah, we talk every day. But I mean, I just feel that this season we're going to be doing more videos during the long night. Maybe not every week live stream, but we'll be doing them. So thanks again, Marie, for the donation. Thanks to your donation and everybody else who donates. I'm gonna be able to do some big, awesome stuff. So thank you again for the donation. But again, with the donation money, he's gonna buy me a plane ticket so that I can come visit him in New York, and then we can do the live stream in the same room. That would be fun. That would be insane. No, but we should probably we should probably meet up at Con of Thrones next season.
Well, fly to Louisville. Well, I don't know if it would be better to fly to Louisville or straight into Nashville. But it's only 2.5 hours away from me. But we could also drive down together if you flew into Louisville. But you got to get on a plane. You need to.
I don't like planes. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows this, but I do not like planes, people. Planes are too much metal flying in the air. If I cannot explain how it flies, I do not want it. I don't want to be in it. Like, I just don't do planes. But I really want to go to Con of Thrones next season because, like I described it this season, I feel like I was a wildling left beyond the wall, and all the wildlings were allowed to cross the wall, and I was just left behind. So next season, I want to go next year to Con of Thrones, and maybe Amelia and me, we could actually meet up in person. That would be insane. Like, if we could do, like, vlogs, awesome stuff. So, I don't know. Hopefully we have something like that in the future. I don't know. I just love the way you're stroking your hair. It's just like, I
had a knot.
It just gives like this like really like, I don't know. It's like a vibe. Like I don't know what's the word.
I got a lot of hair, and it gets knotted even in a ponytail. I was named after Amelia Earhart. My dad flew planes, so they don't bother me at all. But I would not get on a cruise ship.
Biggie says, Ray, you afraid of flying dragons? Hell yeah. Yo, have you seen how much metal that joint is? Yo, that's like like the only country that I travel to ever is Dominican Republic because, of course, I am Dominican. But yeah, that's 4 hours. 4 hours. I don't know why I had 4 hours, and it's just too long for me. Like I get so angsty on the plane that like I remember when I was younger, I was on a plane, and I was just so talkative because I was so nervous that this lady was like, "Yo, will anybody shut him up?" And I was like, "Oh God!" Like I'm telling you, I freak out. Like me and planes don't do well, and me and cars and long rides we don't do well either. Like I can't even imagine going to Louisville and then driving. How many hours is it to Tennessee?
It's like 2.5 hours to Nashville. It's super quick.
It might work out. We might get that next season. Let's see how things end up. Let me see.
Right, those pilots don't want to die either. Okay.
Peach says, "You're not an engineer. As long as you know how it flies, that's what matters. As long as you know it flies, that's what matters." No, it isn't. I mean, if you're telling me that I have to turn off my cell phone on a plane, right? You're telling me, "Oh, please turn off your cell phone so that this plane don't go down," or like, you know what I mean? Like, you're telling me that like a cell phone could interfere with it, my tablet, my computer. The only things that I have to entertain myself and distract myself, like, yo, oh man, why? If someone could explain to me,
not
why,
really anymore. They have Wi-Fi on airplanes.
Yeah, but that's the hustle, though. That's the hustle. They're trying to get us. They don't want us to win. They want. I'm going full out DJ Khaled on you right now. They don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to win. They want us to use that plane Wi-Fi that could be like $3,000 by the time you get to wherever the hell you're going. Like, you know what I mean? You don't know how much they're gonna charge you on Wi-Fi. Isn't it like unlimited and then they charge you or something? I don't know, man. I just don't do planes. I just don't do planes, people. Nobody's gonna convince me here to do planes.
Do you see the look on my face?
I mean, wait. All right, there. All right, we see your look. Eva says. You saw what Eva says? She says, "I need a little bit of Xanax, prescription Xanax, and you'll be flying high in no time." I mean, I honestly, I do travel. I just don't like it unless necessary, and I would do it for Con of Thrones. I would get on a plane and just chill. But let's move on to our next topic. Let's move on to the awesome Winterfell. We see that Jon Snow has received a letter from Tyrion, right? We see that Tyrion, like we said earlier, invited Jon Snow to Dragonstone. We know that everybody in Winterfell is going batshit crazy because Jon Snow is basically, going to Dragonstone. They don't want him to go. It's a very interesting dynamic. They all seem very scared that Jon Snow would be going there. And then we see him choking the living shit out of Littlefinger. What did you think about the storyline in Winterfell and in the North? Not including Arya. We'll get to Arya now. What do you think about Winterfell?
Not including Arya?
Not including Arya. We'll get Arya next.
Well, they all, they have their panties in a wad. It's like, basically, Jon has to do what he has to do. We know that because we've seen what Jon has seen. So that whole scene, to me, I'm really getting tired of Jon in his little court in that room. I'm glad we're moving away from that. Now, the crypts, first off, they did a really good job on Ned's statue. And secondly, I did not think, neither one of us put this out there last week, that it was going to be Sansa that triggered the chokehold on Littlefinger. I didn't see that coming at all. And I was a little disappointed by that because I really wanted the chokehold to be for something important.
What are you talking about? Like, yo, you're younger than your brother, right?
Yeah, by 21 months.
Still, that's pretty. You're almost 2 years younger than your older brother.
Yeah, and he wouldn't set me up. We had a conversation about this not that long ago. He's like a person, and none of them are anybody that I know.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, like anybody who would look at my little sisters the wrong way, I would beat them up. Like, I'm so protective about my sisters. And then and then you put the factor that this creep is telling you that he loves. No, wait. Let's take a step back. He tells you that he loves your stepmom, right? And then on top of that, he tells you that he loves your sister the same way that he loved your stepmom. Bro.
Littlefinger looked real creepy.
Bro. I will mess this shit. Yo, I would have messed this shit up. Like, you cannot tell me that John overreacted. John did what he had to do there, in my opinion. And that's the same thing he did with Rickon. Yes, is he impulsive when it comes to family? I agree with him, and I don't bash him for it because I am that same way. Like, nobody could look at, like, my sister or my family any certain way. I'm very protective even with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody talks to me sideways about you, I'll be like, what you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? I just don't do that. So, I don't know. I personally think that John did the right thing when he stepped up. You think that he did wrong there then?
No, I don't think that he did wrong. I was just wanting something different. I mean, personally. And I guess I just don't see that big brother, little sister. Like, my brother would do that for me, but I don't feel like they have that same relationship that my brother and I do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that from them. And I don't think that he did wrong. It's just not what I wanted to see.
I get you. I understand. No, I agree with that. I thought it was going to be something a little bit maybe more scandalous, maybe a little bit something more like, I know your mother, bastard, or some shit.
I really thought it would be saying, like, Ned's not your father, you know? But, I mean, for Littlefinger to admit that and to say it out loud to anybody but Sansa took it to a whole nother level. Like, you need to keep that shit to yourself. Like, you can creep Sansa out if you want, but don't tell John. Why would you tell John?
That's my question. Let's send this question to everyone in the chat. What do you guys think Littlefinger's motive was when he did this? Because I honestly don't think that it was anything good. He didn't have anything good. Like, it was Littlefinger is regressing. Like, what was his motive? Why did he say this to John that he loves Sansa like he loved Cat? Like, I just don't see what he earned from it. Like, what he was winning from it. Let's see. Misha Houston. Littlefinger was only throwing it in his face, but I have to worry because anyone who lays hands on Baelish comes to a bad end. I agree. I think that a lot of people say that it mirrors the whole Ned Stark doing it to him before. You know what I mean? I think that is true. It is very similar. I just feel that when we look at Littlefinger as a character, Sansa has kind of made him a little bit more dull. Is that the word? What would be the word for it? Like, he's kind of been slacking a bit. He's been a little bit more chill than he has in previous seasons. I think because he's so close to Sansa, and he has actual power, and so does her. What do you think about Littlefinger in this season?
I think he's digging his own grave. I like what Marie said to find out John's weak spot. That is a good point. Still creepy that he did it, but that is a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I 100% believe that Littlefinger did not have any idea that John was going to react like that. I think that he thought that he could probably guilt John or pressure John into being like, oh, like, we see that Littlefinger is holding over John. No, Littlefinger's holding over Sansa, the fact that the Veil came and helped her, right? But when we see Jan Royce is invested himself in this whole war against the White Walkers. He knows about it already. So I just feel that he feels that he probably could dangle the same thing he's dangling over Sansa over John. And I think that it didn't work out the way he thought it was, and I think that he's just being a bit of a screw up right now. I think that let's see. I have a comment here from Marco, and he says Littlefinger act out of character, but maybe he was expecting John will be more accepting that he saying that he loved Kat and Sansa. I mean, yeah, I agree that he was shocked when John choked the shit out of him. But I mean, I think usually when you're choked by someone without expecting it, that's what happens. Like, I feel that he wanted a reaction maybe, but he got a very aggressive reaction. And I don't know, man. It was just weird, man. It was a weird thing there. It was just, to me, it was very out of character for Peter to just blatantly, like say something like that.
I liked that it was like almost like a Darth Vader, like it was one-handed, although Darth Vader doesn't have to touch people. But it was just choked him with one hand, and Littlefinger had both of his hands trying to get him off, and nothing was budging. I liked that.
Look at that face you did. You're like, I like that.
I was like, yes, John, one hand. It's the Darth Vader chokehold.
No, but, like, you know what's funny about it is, I'm not sure if you guys, and I'm really interested in seeing what you guys say in the chat. I'm interested in seeing, like, did you notice how Jon Snow was looking at Littlefinger when he said, you don't belong here? Like, you don't belong down here. He looked scary. Like, I was like, yo, he looked creepy, because he was like, it looked like he was trying to smile, but he looked like, it threw me off a bit, because it wasn't aggressive. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, you don't belong here. And then he just, like, was going to walk off, whatever. And then, like, it got aggressive after he said the Sansa thing. But Jon Snow was just, like, the way that Kit Harington portrayed it, that face that he made, it was like a little smirk. Or I don't know if it was just, like that face. It was very, like, weird to me. I really like the way that, that he did that. I don't know. I think that, Jon Snow will never see Littlefinger again. Personally. That's the way I see it going down. What do you think about Sansa being left in charge? And what did you think about that whole scene when Jon gives Sansa power of Winterfell and the North again?
I think with how he said it, he knew that it was going to pacify Sansa, and it did.
I mean, I agree. I think that Sansa has just been waiting for the opportunity to prove herself and to show her, that she could be like a contributing member of everything, and she could not even be a contributing member. She could be the head member of everything. I think that she, like, it's interesting because her way of going about things is very bratty. It seems like me, look at me. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Instead of doing it by actions and just, like, the previous 2 episodes I really have enjoyed. Like, her counsel is realistic counsel. It's not like a childish, like airhead thing. It's like, look, this is a realistic option. We could do this. And I feel that Jon has been very dismissive. So in this episode, it was good to see that basically Jon was like, okay, I'm leaving everything in charge with you because you're good. Like, I know you could handle it. I trust you. And basically in front of everyone, he told everybody for the first time in front of her, and she didn't even know that he was going to do that. So to me, it was dope. It was interesting to see that Brienne kind of smirked. What did you think about Sansa in that scene, Brienne's little smirk, and all that stuff? What did you think about the passing of power?
Like I said, I think that it's going to sort of appease Sansa. And now I just hope that she doesn't really have to do anything while Jon's gone. Because I would be worried about that. I hope that Bran and Arya get there before she'd ever have to really make any sort of decision. Not because she would make the wrong decision, but because Littlefinger is still there, and I don't want anything to fall into his hands. Thank goodness Brienne is still there. And I think that, Brienne, maybe the smile sort of on her face, I don't know. there were a few facial expressions in this episode that were a little, that didn't really fit for me, and I didn't read them well, or they weren't portrayed well, or they didn't fit. And Brienne's was one of them. I feel like she should have had a different facial expression, almost a sort of, I don't know what facial this would look like, but almost like Sansa is going to be, you know, not the queen in the north, but you know what I mean. And now my duty is even more important. Now I really have to make sure that she's well protected, because she's going to be even more vulnerable. But that's not the look that we got. It was confusing.
I mean, one thing,
and I don't even know how I make.
I was gonna say one thing that I really like. I see here that Peach says, who is Sansa going to have as an advisor? Please, not Littlefinger. Who do you think? I think Brienne. Straight off the bat, like, that's the person that pops in my head as possibly someone to advise Sansa. Who do you think it might be? Do you think it might be like Brienne, or?
I think it'll be Brienne, and I think that's why I would have liked to have seen a different facial expression from Brienne, almost like, well, you know, now my job is even more important, because Brienne sees through Littlefinger, and she'll try to, you know, help keep the distance, hopefully. But I think definitely Brienne's going to be the one to, even if she's not advising her, at least just helping keep between Sansa and Littlefinger, and guiding Sansa that if you're going to take advice from anybody, at least take it from, like, Lyanna Mormont, you know? Like, sort of push her or advise her in the right direction of who to keep company with.
Yeah.
And that not keep company with Littlefinger.
I mean,
and I liked that Littlefinger came out of the crypts and he creepily looked up at Sansa. They didn't show Sansa look at him. They didn't show Sansa looking at him, and I liked that. Because if she would have looked at him, I would have been really mad.
Yeah, because it kind of hints at you like a connection, like
right.
They have something connected. But this is something interesting too that I thought about, and this is Melly in the chat says, Littlefinger is out of time. Jon will learn via Tyrion and Varys what Littlefinger did to Ned, etc. Sansa is onto him and will be playing her own game. Also, Bran and Arya returning will throw a wrench in his plan. Now, one thing that I was really, really shocked in this episode was that Littlefinger told Jon to tell Tyrion that he sent his regards. I was like, what the hell is he thinking? I was like, this is such a bad idea for Littlefinger. Like, Tyrion's gonna be like, what are you doing working with this dude? Like, why? He's such a sleazeball. Like, why are you working with him? And I just found that very interesting. And then, like Melly says, you put in the dynamic that basically Bran and Arya are heading to Winterfell. Isn't just not looking good for Littlefinger. I'm surprised he's still there.
Well, Littlefinger doesn't know that Bran and Arya are on their way. And perhaps Littlefinger said that almost as like a reverse psychology thing. Like, give Tyrion my regards. And Jon's sitting, and then that immediately makes Jon think, since you asked, yeah, right. Maybe that's what he's hoping. Like, versus if he didn't say anything, then maybe Littlefinger would just come up casually in conversation with Tyrion, at Dragonstone. But I don't know. But maybe it was a reverse psychology kind of thing. And so Jon's going to say, I'm not telling him that.
I mean, yeah, I think it might be, but one thing that will always, as like a YouTuber that like I make videos and stuff, when you hear certain phrases, it kind of triggers something. And when Jamie in the show tells tells Roose Bolton, you know, the Lannisters send their regards, whatever. And then later when he kills him, he says the Lannisters send their regards. It kind of reminded me of that. You know what I mean? Like, tell Tyrion I send my good wishes, I think it was that he said, or something like that. To me, it kind of reminded me a bit of it. And I honestly think that it might actually be something down the line. If Jon sends a raven saying, yo, imprison Littlefinger. Like, yo, I just learned all this shit about Littlefinger. Imprison him. It's a wrap. Like, he that was a big gamble, if anything. That was a huge, huge gamble.
Do you think, though, that anything will even come of it? That was just a line that Littlefinger said, and we're looking too much into it, and that we're not even, that Dan and Dave aren't even going to allow that to manifest itself?
I mean, I think so. I mean,
like,
the way that I see it, I just think that it might actually turn into something. Any other time, it probably would have not been something. But with the players that you have, if Jon tells Tyrion, yo, Peter Baelish sends his good wishes or whatever, because Jon might think that, you know, I don't know, maybe Tyrion and him got along or something. Jon doesn't know the dynamic of the relationship between Tyrion and Littlefinger. If he does say, like, he sends his good wishes, and then Tyrion's like, yo, what is that guy doing with you? Like, this guy set everything up against your father. Like, I just see that he failed there. I want to give a thank you to Peach. Thanks, Peach, for the donation. And, you know, you don't need to donate for us to answering the questions, but thank you. Again, like I said, you could highlight it without, but, again, thank you. Everything you guys give will be going to the channel again. I always reinvest everything. And one of my next things that I want to do is I want to send Amelia a camera. That's like my thing. We gotta hook Amelia up with like one of the same cameras I have, so we'll be having that sent out there. I haven't told you. I'm gonna send a camera out there to you, so we can have this. Yeah.
Is my camera not that good?
I don't know. Is it what camera do you have?
My laptop camera.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're gonna get this fixed out.
I have camera.
We'll talk about it after everything. But again, you know, everything. Thanks again for the support. Did you freeze up on me? I was like, did she freeze up?
No, I have a camera that I bought to do YouTube stuff with.
And you just...
It may be packed away, though. I may have already packed it. That's what I'm thinking about. Did I pack it? Because I could show it to you. But...
We'll talk right after everything. But
again, okay, so maybe you can, like, look at the chat, because I've got to go do that thing that you don't like me to talk about.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'll be looking at the chat. So everybody, send me your comments and questions and stuff that you want me to read. I'll be reading them out loud. Norma. Oh, thanks, Norma. Norma, thank you for the donation. Again, it helps the channel a lot. Thank you so much. Love the chats. Importance of Baby Sam theories. Now, I personally, and this is something I have seen and heard theories on Baby Sam. Now, I don't have anything in my opinion that Baby Sam is like 100% he's going to be this or he's going to be that. But I do believe that he has something to do with the White Walkers, because the White Walkers have a way too much of an even number for the one, because I believe he was 99 and then there was the 100th, but they got the 100th, but they never got 99. I think that the White Walkers need Little Monster or Little Sam, however you want to call him, because that number to me is just too much of a like, you know, big number. It's a milestone number, 100, and I think that they need to complete the 100 of Craster's children. That being said, when you look at Craster's children, like I feel like Craster and Little Sam and all of them are like this giant wormhole that you could just go in, right? Because, like, me personally, I think that we see that in the books. Little Sam is left in the wall with Jon, and Gilly takes Mance Rayder's son with her, and then that's so that they don't burn Mance's son, and you know, because when they find out it's Little Sam, they're gonna be whatever. That to me is a big hint at that little Sam needs to be there, and something is gonna go down with Little Sam, because it's just like, to me, it's too big of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Little Sam, I don't know, like, I remember, I think Tony Teflon had a video on, like, shout out to Tony Teflon. He had a theory on, I think it was that, like, he is, like, the prince that was promised to the White Walkers. If that is indeed the case, that would be interesting within itself, because what is he promised to do? Like, why is he promised? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just go. It goes. I mean, it also makes you wonder if Craster is a Stark, or a Stark bastard or something, because we know he is a son of. He's a bastard of someone in the Wall, of a brother of the Night's Watch, and like I'm telling you, I get like so overwhelmed with all the information there to support like something is there. I just don't know what exactly it is 100%. Like, I wouldn't want to say something out my mouth right now that isn't like factually correct or something that is viable, but I totally believe something is up there with Little Sam and the White Walkers and all of them. Iron Throne says, why would 99 on 100 be important? Bro, 100 is everything. 100 bucks, 100. Yo, like it's just like 100 is such a wonderful, outstanding number. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that, like, when you put that number 100 to children, like, that's a lot of fucking kids. Like, Craster had a lot of kids, a lot of children, and for it not to be something now would be, like, to me, insane. Like, and then it's not even just that. To me, it's like that number makes me like, okay, that's like a weird number. And then you have on top of that Jon changing the babies, and then on top of that, you don't know why, like, the White Walkers were taking those kids, why them specifically. It just, to me, it's like very interesting. It kind of piques my interest a little bit too much. So I think that there might be something there. I was talking about Little Sam. Do you think something is weird about Little Sam? Do you think something is up with him or something? Like, someone just asked, do you have any theories or any thoughts on Little Sam?
No.
Yeah. You're like, no. All right.
Not right now to come into the middle of this. We can just move on.
What the hell just happened?
Nothing.
It's funny because it's highlighted on you right now. I forgot to change it back to me, but I see we have a question here from Marie. I'm not taking questions now, but I'll take this one. Let's see. Marie says, "Will Varys betray Dany and why?" I think that once he sees, possibly, if he is 100% true to the whole, he serves the realm, he is whatever the realm, he wants the realm to succeed, yada yada yada. If he is true to that, and then he sees that Jon Snow is like this leader, or that people are rallying behind Jon Snow, and he's a kind-hearted person, and then they find out that he's a Targaryen. On top of that, Rhaegar's son, because we know that Varys is supporting Aegon in the books. If he finds this out in the show, Varys, or if he knows it, and then they bring, because Varys did ask, why is this Jon Snow, besides anything you saw in the Flames, so important? And then Melisandre throws out all these good things that Jon has done. And then once Jon says he came back from the dead, he's like this messiah figure and all of that. I think that once all of this hits the fan, I think that Varys might jump ship because, like Daenerys says, he has done so in the past. So if it comes out to the light of day that Jon is a Targaryen, I could definitely see it going down that way. Do you think that Varys would betray Daenerys?
I'm still getting over my computer almost falling off my boxes. If she sort of turned into a mad queen, Yes. But I don't know if we're going to get all of that in the show. You know what I mean?
I feel like they've hinted at it on the show before, though.
When?
Oh, I don't know. When she's telling the Dothraki, when she's in Essos, like, oh, we're going to bring their castles down, and like the only thing that she didn't say was they're gonna rape and pillage. Like, she said everything. She sounded insane. Like, you know what I mean? She sounded like she was giving him a pep talk. Like it was Khal Drogo doing it. Like, she sounds freaking crazy sometimes. Like, I don't know. That's just me. I think that sometimes she does sound a bit odd. She sounds a bit crazy. But that's just my thought on that. Like, you don't see her as crazy maybe sometimes?
Sometimes I think she gets a little hyped up, but I wouldn't call it crazy. Because we have so many other people in the show that we can legitimately call crazy. You know?
I mean, yeah. I just think that from the last episode we saw, and from how I believe Varys is on thin ice, like, I honestly believe that after not giving Daenerys that very important information, I think he's on thin ice. I want to see how Dany reacts to that. Wouldn't that have been some crazy shit if Jon would have bumped into Euron?
That would have been bad.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It would have been some crazy ass shit. I mean, it looked like he was going... It looked like Euron was maybe going to Dragonstone and he just bumped and ambushed Yara, like you said earlier. But let's move on to Arya Stark. Right? Because Arya to me was like the best person in this whole episode. To me was Arya Stark. Without a doubt in my mind, Arya was the best character arc this episode. I truly, truly believe that. And like, I got like goosebumps seeing Arya in this episode. That's how good it was, in my opinion. What did you think about Arya? What was your favorite part about Arya? What were your thoughts on Arya overall?
Those brows.
What's that? What's that? I don't know.
It was really interesting how Hot Pot just sort of walked up and was like, Ari? She was like, hey, Hot Pot. Like, so disconnected and detached. But I guess with everything that she's been through, that's kind of who she is now. So little emotion from, you know, Hot Pot just being like, hey, Ari. For her to immediately have so much emotion, finding out that Winterfell is in Stark's control again, her, you know, Jon is the king in the north. Like, that was the only thing that could, you know, liven her up was that news. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay. And it was like she was more concerned with eating than you know, reminiscing with Hot Pie. It was just kind of, she was just very detached up until she heard about Jon.
So something that I got from one of my posts that I posted in one of my videos was that someone told me that the way she was eating was very much like the Hound. Do you think that it was very similar to the Hound? She probably picked that up from him.
Yeah. You know, it did look like the Hound. I didn't think about that. But I just, you know, then again, it's Hot Pie's cooking, so it's got to be good, right?
I mean, like, yo, I'm not even going to lie. I got goosebumps. Like, that's how much I loved when Hot Pie told Arya. Because you just see, like, I like the Nymeria scene. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But when you see the Nymeria scene, to me, is meant to complement the Hot Pie scene. And I'm going to explain why. Because, in my opinion, when I see Arya in the beginning of the Hot Pie scene, she looks very uninterested. Like you said, not connected with where she's at right now. She's like unaware. She's like uninterested in everything. And I just feel that when Hot Pie tells her that the Boltons don't have it, you see like immediately you see like damn like what I didn't know that. And to me that's another thing that's interesting. She did not know that the Boltons were dead when the Boltons and basically the Boltons and the Rayz have an alliance, and basically she doesn't know. She's just oblivious to this. But I'm not gonna nag on it. I just love the scene so much. And then then when Hot Pie tells her, you see like this emotion, like she's like, what? And then she's like, you're lying. Like I can't believe this. And then she's like, oh shit, like and then the way that they filmed the scene was dope. Because when we come from the Citadel, we see the chicken pie thing, and basically it grosses you out. Yeah, sure. But then we hear the conversation the two men are having, like the merchants or whatever. They're talking about going to King's Landing, and basically they're talking about Cersei, King's Landing, and whatnot. So we already know that everything that happened in King's Landing happened already prior to the Rayz being dead, and we already know somewhat the order when we see the Arya scene. And then when she heads out of the inn, they're going one way, which is to show us like, well, they're going to King's Landing, and then she has to choose if she's going opposite them or she's going the same direction as them. So that kind of lets you know like where she's going right off the bat. Like, you know what I mean? I just love the way that it was filmed, the emotion behind it, and then I just love that my boy Hot Pie tried to get out of the friend zone and took his shot. Like, what did you think about Hot Pie taking a shot?
I don't think he was taking a shot.
He was taking his shot. He was like, well, I can't believe you were a boy. Oh, you're pretty.
Well, I'm not the right person to ask because people can flirt with me and it goes right over my head. So,
so basically, you're saying that people have to put like, I'm flirting with you. Like,
you gotta, yeah, you've got to write it on a piece of paper.
Nah, I mean, I just honestly believe that he was like, damn, like I can't believe, like my dream, I would be so happy if Hot Pie would be the cook at Winterfell, Gendry would be like, or like they would be like all three at Storm's End or something. Like that would be the best ending for those three, Gendry, Arya, and all of them like one family. I don't know, that would be dope. But obviously we know that Arya's not having a happy ending. At least I don't think so. I think that she's kind of one of those characters that are like marked for death.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly have always thought that Arya is kind of like a very sad. I mean, people tend to forget that Arya is a teenage assassin who has killed and saw her father being killed in front of her, and like has gone through all these attempts on her life and stuff. It's just like, I don't know, man. I just don't see that she's gonna end well. You know what I mean? Marco says, if you choose to be a lone wolf, you will die. But if you choose to be with your pack, you will survive. That's what Arya is thinking. Lone wolf die, pack things survive. Alright. I mean, I think that is a theme for the Starks. That the lone wolf will die and the pack survives. I'm just interested in seeing why they did that with Jon Snow necessarily in the trailer. But did you ever have any doubts that Arya was going north when she found out about Jon and them?
No.
You knew she was going back.
Yeah, and I even thought when she said she was going to King's Landing in the first episode that was a lie. I mean, obviously it wasn't because that's what she told Hot Pie, and we see that she changed her mind. But I always thought she'd go north. We don't have time for her to go south and then go north.
I mean, she was going to get the job done, though, against Cersei. She was going to get that shit done. Like, Stacey Smith has a really dope theory on Arya, and I told her I just haven't had enough time to put it out there. I'm collabing with her on that, but once I have enough time, we're gonna put that video out. I'm not sure if you were here for that video. Were you here when she said that theory, Stacey Smith?
I don't know if I was or not.
It was basically like that Arya was the Faceless Men let Arya go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they let her go because they know that she wants to kill Cersei, and it was like the Iron Bank that kind of hired the Faceless Men, and they're letting Arya do it on their behalf, but Arya doesn't know that she's doing it. You know what I mean? That's like an abbreviation of it, but I have like other notes. But like I honestly like the theory a lot. I think that it could actually pan out, and you know, there's so much more intricacies in it. But once I have time, Stacy and me will have that out for you guys. It's dope. All right, so what did you think about the whole Nymeria debacle? Like, what did you think about the "it's not you" and Nymeria almost eating Arya and the horse? Poor horse, they didn't have anything to do with it. What did you think about that?
Well, I wouldn't say that Nymeria almost ate Arya and the horse. Man, it was awesome to see a dire wolf next to a regular wolf. I loved that scene. I wish that Nymeria would have let Arya touch her before she walked away. I was heartbroken when she turned around, but I wholeheartedly believe that this is not the last time that we'll see Nymeria, and that Nymeria is going to watch Arya and follow her, but from a distance. And I think that we'll see her later this season.
I mean, I agree. I think that Nymeria might follow her to the north and then be roaming.
I think Nymeria is going to do it on her own terms and in her own way, which is how Arya would do it.
I mean, one, I love the scene. It was a dope scene. It was so well done. The CGI on these wolves is ridiculous. Like, they are freaking awesome graphic designers. However the hell they did them, they are freaking awesome. I loved it. But the emotion behind the scene was really dope. Like, it's like, I have my pack, you have to go back and get yours. That's what I kind of got off of that. And I don't know, man. I'm just super excited for tomorrow. I want to see, do you think that Arya makes it back to Winterfell by tomorrow?
Well, if Jon makes it to Dragonstone, surely Arya can make, and I mean, I know he's taking a ship, but surely she can make it to Winterfell. And it's episode 3. So, you know.
I mean, I agree. I think that when we look at Arya, to me, one thing that just sucks is that she's not going to bump into Jon. Like, Jon and her won't see each other again. They will not have a reunion, I think, this season. I think that Jon is going to be, for the most part, beyond the wall and south of the neck for the remainder of the season. I don't think that he's going to be, because we have 5 episodes, right? Let's say this episode and maybe the 4th episode. So 3rd and 4th. Let's say he's in Dragonstone, and then like he goes I just don't see him returning to Winterfell. Do you think that they're gonna reunite all 4 of them together, or do you think it's just gonna be like 3 for now?
I don't know, because we know that he goes north of the wall, but when he's north of the wall, he's with Tormund, and he's with, which is supposed to be at Eastwatch, but he's also with the Brotherhood. So would he go straight from Dragonstone north up to Eastwatch, or would he maybe stop at Winterfell? Like, we already know that Tormund's going to be at Eastwatch, but how does the Brotherhood get to Eastwatch if Jon doesn't have some sort of connection somewhere before, like with the Brotherhood, before they get to the wall? I could only imagine that happening somewhere on land. I would like for it to be Winterfell, and I would like to see a reunion. And maybe that's just something that they're not showing us at all, you know, in previews and in little clips. But I don't really see how he's going to go just straight from Dragonstone to Eastwatch without going back to Winterfell.
I mean, we got it from the Hound in the first episode. He said, when the wall meets the sea. So I think that the Brotherhood is going directly to the wall. And I think that Jon will go to Tormund, and then that's where they're going to find each other. They're going to be like, oh, you're here. Oh, you're here. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to do this together. All right. and then they go from there on out. But I don't think that it's going to be like some like, you know, like reunion at Winterfell and then like all these characters are at Winterfell. No, I think that they're gonna meet up at Eastwatch because Jon and the Brotherhood, or at least the Hound, pointed out Eastwatch by the Sea. So
That's true.
I think that they were very specific about that.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
But damn, do you guys hear that? The motorcycle? All right. So, let's move on to the next scene, which was pretty dope. I really enjoyed it, and it was the Citadel. Now, we see that basically we got a lot in the Citadel, I think, in this episode too. We got Samwell Tarly finally being face to face with Jorah. He later finds out that he is son of Jeor Mormont, you know, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, or former Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. And it was dope because Sam says that you're not going to die, like he's not going to let him die. And then you remember that Jeor said the same thing to Samwell Tarly, like you're not going to die today or whatever. And then you have the books, if you look into the books, that, you know, Jeor wanted Sam to relay a message to his son to join the Night's Watch. And Sam trying to heal him. There's like so much in this. And then you even have that little nod to the theory that Sam is the one, we're seeing the story through Sam's eyes, or basically, or Sam is the one writing the story. What did you think about this episode, Amelia? I mean, this scene in the Citadel. Both scenes that we got from it.
Somebody said, no, Amelia. I don't know if I can like this. I'm here. Leona. I always enjoy scenes with Samwell. Love Sam. And I'm glad that, like, the moment that he found out that he was, you know, a Mormont, he's like, I have to do this. I have to help you. Out of respect for, you know, his, you know, for Jeor. I loved that. And I love that about Sam. His character, it just, like, his character just doesn't, he never fails me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it, you know that me, you, and Eva have like a chat, and it's interesting seeing from like Eva's perspective what she thought about the whole procedure that Sam was doing on Jorah. And again, she's not a doctor, full disclaimer, so don't take this as gospel, but she was telling us, you know, that oatmeal and honey and stuff like that, that they're used even in modern day for certain healing aspects of it, right? Like antiviral, antimicrobial. Damn, I can't say that word for some reason. That word always eats me up. I even cut it out of the videos from how bad I said it. But, you know, the properties of honey and oatmeal and stuff in healing. That was interesting. I really liked that conversation we had with Eva. What did you think about the procedure that Sam was performing on? Because that shit looked nasty. Let's just put that out there. And it looked painful as fuck. And I was just going crazy after seeing it. I was just like, oh, God, grimacing. Like, do you think that it'll work? Or one thing, too, do you think that Sam might get grayscale? Because he was telling him to be quiet. He was like, shh, shh. Like, do you think he touched his mouth? Like,
no, I don't think that he's going to get grayscale. I think that he's going to cure it. And hopefully you do something that you're not supposed to do. You could get in trouble even though you cured it. The Citadel could be like, but you weren't supposed to, you know, we told you not to do that. But I think that he's going to cure it. Jorah is one of those characters that even if he doesn't have any more importance to the continuing story, you just want him to live. You know, he's just a good guy. And you can't, like, I don't know, you know, I mean, he's just such a good guy. And I think that Sam is going to cure it, but I don't know that I have any idea of like what that, like him curing it, how that's going to benefit Sam. I hope that it does, like within the Citadel, that they would be like, oh my goodness, we're going to graduate you, you know, like here, have access to anything you want. But I don't know, those guys just don't really seem like they operate like that. But I do think he's going to cure it, and I'm interested to see what that then, how that furthers Sam's storyline. And even if I never saw Jorah again, knowing that he was cured and alive, I would be happy.
I mean, I think that he will get cured, because for him to go through that shit and not get cured, that would be insane. And HBO did release the pages of like what the pages said that Sam was reading, like about peeling the skin off and whatnot. And I'm gonna say this: if you guys don't, you guys should definitely follow me on my Facebook page. I post a lot of stuff that HBO releases there, and I post like videos and stuff. So if you don't, check me out at Rayz the Alba on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, so check that out. But on there I posted the procedure, like the pages that Sam read, and it's interesting because it just says that it's like olive oil, and it's like these really, really like simple things that are being used to heal Jorah. I'm like, is he healed? Is it dormant? Like, what the hell is he doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening here? So I'm really excited to see what happens there with that. But I do agree. If you see, did you see the photos for the upcoming episode?
The ones you sent in chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam looks like he's in trouble.
I didn't pay that. I don't think I looked that close.
What you call it? Sam to me looks like he's in trouble. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that Sam looks like he is in trouble. And shout out to Stephanie. Thanks for following me. Like I said to follow me there, they went and followed me. Everyone, yeah, go follow me on my Facebook page. I post a lot of stuff there. But basically, I just think that it's interesting that we've all been thinking about this grayscale, and then in the show, they make such a simple thing, heal him. But I'm interested in that. Guys, before we finish talking about the Citadel, though, you guys can start sending in your questions, because you know, we're basically almost done with the topics we set for today. Start sending your questions in, label them Q&A, and send my name highlighted, I guess, or Amelia, and then we'll pick them out and we'll answer some questions before we head out. But I don't know. I just think that it was interesting the way that they healed him. Also, the letter that Jorah was writing, I also put it on my Facebook page, and it's basically like a goodbye love letter. It seemed like he was going to kill himself before Sam went in there. It's just interesting though, like he's touching that paper and he's gonna send it to Daenerys. Like, when Daenerys get grayscale, it looks pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that Jorah has been kind of careless with the grayscale? Touching shit and like reaching out at people?
I'm sure that if that was the case and it was contagious like a germ, I don't think it's contagious like a germ. I think you have to touch skin to skin.
I don't know, man.
Like if you had the chicken pox and, you know, then you touched a piece of paper and then a week later somebody touched that piece of paper, they wouldn't get the chicken pox.
Is that a fact, or is that like you're like, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't know if that is. I mean, I would imagine any particles or any bacteria would maybe die, but I don't know.
This is where we get our nurse, Eva.
I know, right? Eva, let us know.
Oh, that's right. David said Shireen caught it from a doll. That is true.
You see? Yeah, man, I'm telling you, yo, Jorah has been reckless with that shit. He reached out at Samuel in the first episode. For all we know, he's already infected half of Westeros on his way to the Citadel. I would be like, Cooties, you're it. Or Tag, you're it. You remember when Cooties was a thing?
Yeah.
Cooties don't exist nowadays. Kids nowadays don't know what cooties are. Sound like an old man. All right, so we have a question from Rita, and it says, "Why was Ned's statue standing instead of seated, with the direwolf at his feet and the sword across his lap, like the other lords in Winterfell?" That is something that I did think about. I think that it is interesting. To be honest, I don't know if I have a concrete answer. What I just thought was that maybe, like, I legit thought this. So, don't laugh. But I'm like, I don't know. He did Lyanna like that. He left Lyanna standing. So they thought that maybe, it looks better. And also, you have to also think about who made the statue, who commissioned it. Like, you know what I mean? It was done while basically the whole this was basically done before it was taken by Theon. Yeah, it was basically done like in between all this time. So I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe because Lyanna was standing, and but we do see other statues that have the sword across their, across their lap. Maybe because he died fighting.
Have we seen his brother and his dad's statues? I can't remember.
I think that we did. I just don't think that they explicitly, because beyond Lyanna, if I recall correctly, I think you do see another statue that's like sitting with the sword across his lap.
But we don't know technically. Maybe like how he died.
But Lyanna is next. Lyanna is next to their father.
And is he sitting?
And he's sitting. But that's the thing. I'm saying, like you said right now, maybe because he's fighting. Maybe it's because he died in a I don't know, man. It is a weird question. I really don't know. I don't want to lie to you. I really do not know, Rita, but that is an awesome question. Because it's interesting because we always assume that the sword is across their lap because it's like an aggressive thing. We remember when Rob does this with Tyrion, it's like aggressive. You know what I mean? It's not like a very easy whatever thing. Like it comes across as like, I don't know, like a fighting thing. You know what I mean? But then when you have Ned still fighting, like he's standing with the sword, and I don't know. I want to know your thoughts on the statue. Did you think that it looked like Ned? I think it kind of looked like Ned. Like I
thought they did a great job. Yeah, I said that a while ago.
I think that it looked great. Like I honestly was like, yo, they did like a good job on this. Like I was pretty pumped with the way it looked. But I just think that maybe they followed after Lyanna, like, you know what I mean? I think that they just followed suit after Lyanna, whoever commissioned it, because it must. Like, when was the statue made? Was it John that made it? Were the bones just, buried or whatever, and then, like, we just don't know what the hell happened there, because the Boltons were in control of Winterfell for so long, so we just don't know. All right, let's see. Ooh, I like this one. Let me see. I don't know if let me see first if there's any other questions. Wait, we have more questions. Yeah, we have a lot more. All right, let me see. Q&A. This comes from Phil. What will Melisandre do when Jon and Davos show up at Dragonstone? What will she do?
It looks like she's gonna keep her distance.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100. Davos is gonna kill her. I mean, I keep saying it. Davos is gonna kill Mel. That's why she's so far away. She's like, because when she's on the mountain, she's looking at Jon Snow arriving at Dragonstone. And Varys is even talking to her while she's on the cliff. She is going to get killed by Davos at some point. I just don't know when.
I don't think he would kill her at Dragonstone. Like, she's basically under Dany's protection. So.
He said he'll kill her himself. So I don't know. I'll take that. I'll take him for his word. Thank you, Norma, for the donation. Norma says, and then I'll go back. But I just wanted to say, because I don't know if the comment will disappear. In the books, Ned 1, he wonders that since the iron swords that have been kept, that have kept them in the graves this long, if they will rise to help Jon? All right, so basically what I'm guessing is you're asking if the dead will rise with the swords to fight and help Jon. I think it was Phil H a while back. He said something that really piqued my interest as just a fan of Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire. He basically said that he asked the question if why are the Crypts of Winterfell once with the sword and all that, and he said what is it that's at the deepest level of the Crypts of Winterfell? What is there? Because it's true, what are those swords doing there? And they're made of iron, and we know that the Northerners have this iron and bronze and whatnot. They have this strong thing with it. Do you think that there's anything with the previous Kings of Winter and the Lords of Winterfell? Do you think there's any reasoning for the swords? Do you think that that'll play into anything in the future? Maybe King Whites or something? I don't know.
I just sort of thought that you were buried with your sword. I'm a horrible co-host right now. I mean, sometimes when these questions get asked, it's in
no, I mean,
to think about.
No, I mean, me personally, right now, right, off the top of my head, I think that in the books it might actually be something, right? Because for you to put Ned standing might be a way of them trying to hint at us that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? In terms of the TV show, it's probably trying to make us take attention away from the actual crypts, what's happening. Because I really don't see any reasoning for him standing. Unless he might be revived or some shit. You know what I mean? When you're standing, that means you're going to do something. You're active. You know what I mean? And the other Lord just sitting. So, is this for a reason? We just don't know who commissioned the statue in the show. So, I'm interested in that. I just don't know 100%. We know that Bran and I was going to say Yara. It's not Yara. Osha take swords with them from the crypts. I want to know if that'll play anything in the future. You know what I mean? There's just I think so little information on the crypts. That's one of the things I really wanted to see this season more of. I just guess we're probably might just get just 1 or 2 scenes there. But thanks for the question, Norma. I mean, you've left me a little bit questioning myself. Let's see. Todd Fowler says, how do you think we'll make it to the end of the series? I don't know who you're talking about there, Todd. So you would have to specify on that and exactly what you mean. Let's see. Marie says, will Melisandre tell Varys what he heard in the flames? I mean, that is interesting, and I do think she might. You know why? Because we saw that Kinvara said it in the previous season, right? And then in this episode, in the photos that I put up on my Facebook page, we see that while Melisandre is looking down on Jon while he's arriving at Dragonstone, Varys is up there with her. So it seems like they're having some type of dialogue, them by themselves up there. So I could definitely see Melisandre being like, "Oh, you're a skeptic? Oh, Kinvara said this, and look, and then hitting him, bam, this is what she said." What do you think the Flames said? Do you think we'll hear it? We'll know what the Flames told Varys?
I would like to know, because what a waste of a scene last year with Kinvara, I feel like that is a good way. She didn't repeat what the Flame said. She said that she knew. So I think that that's a good way to set up that Mel would know as well, because she's a Red Priestess. And it's interesting that we know that Varys he really doesn't care for magic and the Red Priests and priestesses. Oh gosh, it's getting late. So for him to put himself in such close proximity, next episode, that would be the perfect time for us to finally learn what was said in the flames, and this in multiple episodes over the seasons about what was said in the flames, Obviously, if anybody's, we're not going to hear it from Varys' mouth. So if we're going to get it from anybody, it's going to be a red priest or priestess opportunity. And I feel like as viewers, we kind of deserve to hear what it is by now,
It's like that Tyrion joke that everybody wants to know the end of the joke, but it was like one of those things that I don't think we'll ever get a payoff for. Maybe in the books. I don't know. George, what happened?
What? Well, Marco had an interesting question.
All right. No, because I'm just going down. I went like back to see which questions. So we'll probably eventually get to Marco. You okay with that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So, basically, Melly, we could just knock them down quick, a little bit more quicker. So we probably won't go in deep as much. But let's see. Hey Ray, check out IMDb cast list for episode 3. Luke Wilson Handley as Rhaegar. He's handsome enough. Let's see. I looked it up while you were talking. I could see him as pretty good looking dude. I guess. I mean, at this point, just based off of looks, I can't be like, oh, that's gonna be Rhaegar. But it's interesting because all of the Targaryens are not originally blonde people, so you know what I mean. Like, they're not blondes; they're usually dark-haired actors. And this actor, I guess, I don't know. I know because you're not looking at the actor. I looked it up while you were talking. I don't know. At this point, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if he would be Rhaegar. I think he could play Rhaegar, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? No?
I don't know who you're talking about, so no.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Game of Thrones is just going to hire a blonde guy. And, I mean, it would be more likely to hire a brunette and then put a wig on him so that we didn't speculate.
I mean, look at Emilia Clarke, though, and the actor who portrays Viserys. Like, you see them without that hair, you wouldn't recognize them. They look so different. All right, so we have a question from Rowan. Will Gendry be a legitimized Baratheon that Dany has or marry for political gain and peace in the realm? What do you think about that? Do you think Gendry will be legitimized, or do you think Daenerys would marry him?
No, I don't think that Dany would marry him. And I think that Gendry is going to pick up Theon in his rowboat.
I agree. I think that
that's when we're going to see Gendry or Gender. I always want to say
Gendry. I always say Gendry.
Gendry. He's going to help Theon out. That's a joke, people, but
I mean, I think that he might be legitimized because there's a king and a queen that might actually do it. I don't think that Cersei would do it. So I don't think Cersei would legitimize him.
He would not.
I think that I don't know. I don't think that he would marry Daenerys, because I don't think that Daenerys would marry a bastard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or at least not a bastard. I think that she would not marry Gendry because he is someone that doesn't have the power behind him right now. He's not legitimized, and he's not a king. Like, Jon is different because Jon is a king.
And he's a Baratheon who,
murdered her family.
Yeah, the usurper's family.
All right, so we have a question from Steph, and it says, if Jon's parentage came out, do you think Varys or Jaime ever will talk to Jon about Rhaegar, as they are the only ones who personally knew him and had respect for him? I mean, I think that for the most part, Jaime... It's funny how Jaime and Jon have kind of changed. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of positions a bit. At the beginning of the show, we see that Jaime and Jon are talking at Winterfell, and Jaime's kind of arrogant about it all. You know, he's kind of shitting on Jon. And then we see that basically, Jon was nothing. Now Jon is king, and Jaime is Cersei's side piece. Do you have any thoughts on that? I think that I don't think that they would have time to tell anything to Jon about Rhaegar Targaryen. What do you think?
I don't think that we're going to have that opportunity. Maybe berries, maybe. But I think that Jon's just going to live the life that we see on TV with a lot of unanswered, questions. He'll probably learn more about his mother. I hope at least, but he may learn something from Bran, and I hope that he at least learns that it was out of love and not how everybody thinks it was out of kidnapping and rape.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Do you think we're gonna get Bran in the upcoming episode?
I hope so. I hope that it's not gonna be like season 5 when we don't. We've seen him for all of 4 seconds.
All right, Todd Fowler says, "Who do you think will make it to the end of the series?" My bad for messing up the question earlier. Nah, bro, it's all good. I personally think I'm gonna give 3 characters that I think make it to the end. Right? Sansa, Jaime, and Brienne. What do you think?
Sam, Tyrion, and Jaime. That is that I think that the rest are going to die, but
those are your top 3. You're pretty sure they're going to survive. All right, so we have another question too. This comes from Lola Dixie. Oh, you guys hear that car? My bad, people. All right, let's see. This comes from Lola Dixie, and she says, "Will Dany have any more visions?" First time here, great chat. Oh, thanks, Lola. Glad you enjoyed.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. We have this every Saturday, and hopefully it's just gonna keep getting better and better. But
normally it's stuck on my face like it has been.
No, the thing is that I forget. Since I'm looking for questions, I tend to forget to switch it back because I am literally like controlling everything. I have 2 computers, and I'm like dealing with both of them. But bear with me, people. Yeah, man. Do you think that Daenerys is gonna have any more visions? I think that she might. I think that it's still a possibility. I think that Bran might. One thing that I want to see with Bran is if he could make other people see his visions. If other people see the visions that he sees. Like how Bloodraven did it to him. But the thing is that Bloodraven probably did it to him because he's a green seer. You know what I mean? Do you think that we might get any visions with Dany?
I don't think that we're going to get any more in the show. In the books, yes, I think we'll get more in the books.
All right, let's see.
Did you pass over Marco's question?
Was it highlighted? I'm just looking at the highlighted ones.
Oh, I don't know, but it says at Rayz to Alba. What do you think about the White Walkers walking past the wall with the frozen sea theory thing?
I
did want to talk about this.
At this point, it's in the opening. Like once the shutter starts going past the wall, it's frozen over. And we did hear the Hound say Eastwatch by the Sea, so it seems at this point that it might be realistic that they pass just walking by the wall. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me.
I will be so if that is what happens.
You'll be mad, you said?
I will be mad if they just walk around the wall. Yes, I always envisioned that they would be at Castle Black. And if they walk around that wall, like really?
Yo,
the wall have to come down? We're not going to get to see the walk. You're just going to walk around it?
Yeah, what you call it? It would be
hilarious.
That
is such a lazy way to tell the story.
It would be
what
hilarious.
was the whole
I'm telling you, it would be hilarious if we just see the White Walkers just walking past the Night King on his horse, and he's just like fucking wall. Like, you know what I
I will go on a rant. Like, you have gone on some Sansa rants. You will see Amelia probably say more cuss words
than ever.
I mean, I don't even want. I wanted that. I wanted to highlight his question, but I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, that's how mad I will be. But like, oh no.
All right, so we have one more question, and I think this one might be actually like the last. It comes from Rayz. Oh no, wait, we have another one. Came in from Steph. So he says a lot of people say that the ships that Danny took were slaver ships from merchants, but they were throwing fireballs. I mean, I personally agree. I think that they were battleships. They weren't necessarily merchant ships. They had like slings on them and shit. But I do believe that Danny has a decent fleet. I just think that the thing that'll even out her against the Iron Fleet will be the dragons. What do you think about that?
It's gonna have to be, yeah. Because apparently Euron can build ships pretty quickly, and they can look pretty badass and do really special things.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Danny has to, like, you know, do what she has to do. She has to get things done, and I don't see.
Well, and now Danny's plans have completely changed because she, you know, the fleet was supposed to take to Dorne, and they were going to take their army and lay siege to King's Landing. She can't do that now.
I mean, man, it's interesting.
But we haven't even talked about Theon and how we feel about him literally jumping ship.
He just went like, ugh. He went like.
So many people were giving flack about it, but really, can you blame him? And again, that was one of the looks on like Yara's face. The first look that she had, I was like, she doesn't want him to come after Euron. Because honestly, he would have died. I mean, he would have been walking into a death trap. I felt like the look on her face was, no, stay back. And then when he jumped ship, the look on her face, I had to watch it twice. I feel like she was upset, but she was also like, okay, he did what I wanted him to do, but this sucks that I'm going to be Euron's prisoner now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
he had to be left behind so that he could go back and tell. I mean,
it was insane. Everything that happened there was insane. I think that Theon, at the end of the day, he has post-traumatic stress disorder. He's not Theon anymore. He's Reek, and it sucks, but that's just who he is. All right, so let's take.
No, I don't think it's about Reek. I think that was the only thing that was the smartest thing he could have done.
No, I think
because he's still alive.
That dude is Reek. He is Reek, and Alfie Allen makes you know that he is Reek. Like, he's just like, like twitching and shit. He's like, like, nah. Like, I just found that crazy. But let's take this last question before we head off from Steph. And this is something that everybody else is thinking, and it is, will we see Ghost at all this season? Getting pissed off. I know I am. I think that it's unfair that we haven't seen Ghost yet. What do you think? Do you think we'll see Ghost this season?
I thought maybe we would see like when Jon and Davos, you know, got on their horses. I was like, well, I guess he's leaving Ghost behind. But maybe that's good for Sansa, you know, keep Littlefinger away. I would have liked to have seen Littlefinger see Ghost. That would have really put him in his place. But like I keep saying, when I don't see him, I know he's alive. I miss him, and I know that Dan and Dave hate doing the wolves with CGI. They don't like working with the wolves. They much prefer the dragons. So I feel like that's why they killed a lot of them off. And I miss Ghost, but I know that he's still alive, so I'm content with that.
I mean, truth be told, I think that we should get more direwolves. I just don't think that we will, because they've proven that they don't really care for the direwolves that much. You know what I mean? I just feel that they really don't care that much. They try to use them less and less and less. And they even prefer killing them off instead of using them. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I just don't see them. I just don't see them popping up anytime soon. Nymeria, because Nymeria was a special occasion type thing. I don't think that we'll be getting any more direwolves in. I mean, I would like to see Ghost at least once this freaking season, but I just don't see it happening at this point. But guys, I'm going to end it here. I want to give a huge thank you to Amelia for coming on, you know, as my wingman. She's always here every weekend. And Amelia, want to say goodbye? Want to say what's up to everybody?
Bye. I'm happy to be here with you all and spend my Saturday night. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And I'll see you next week. Yeah. Hugs and love.
And guys, like I said, this will be the new format on the channel. If you liked it, let me know in the comment section after the video, you know, goes up that you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And let me know right now in the chat too. Like I said, I am super hyped. I will be live next weekend as well. And I will be on some live streams this week, so stay tuned for that on my social media. If you don't follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, all that good stuff, I'm always there. And as always, guys, it's a true pleasure. My name is Ray, and peace.